Over the past half-century, the island of Puerto Rico has been more than just a Caribbean paradise. It's been a battleground, a place where U.S. law enforcement chased dangerous street gangs and drug lords, but also where the embers of political rebellion never quite died. Among these turbulent years of social unrest, one name kept surfacing. Whispered in FBI briefings, plastered across most wanted lists, and splashed across international headlines. Víctor Manuel Gerena. He was an unlikely fugitive, a security guard who orchestrated one of the most audacious heists in American history. A theft that wasn't just about money, but about a political cause that ran deeper than most dared to understand. In this video, we'll take you inside the FBI's biggest hunt on the island, the passionate ideals that fueled it, the infamous robbery that set it all in motion, and the decades-long international chase that followed Gerena into the shadows of a revolutionary underground. Buckle up as we uncover the full story of the most elusive fugitive in Puerto Rican history, and the relentless pursuit to bring him to justice.
More than 40 years after the robbery, Víctor Manuel Gerena remains at large. Officially removed from the 10 most wanted list in 2016, the case is still open. The FBI claims they will never stop looking. But for many in Puerto Rico, the trail has gone cold and may stay that way forever. Víctor Manuel Gerena's story is one of money, militancy, and a manhunt spanning decades. It's also a reminder that the history of Puerto Rico, its struggles, its hopes, cannot be understood without acknowledging the politics that fueled it. The biggest hunt in Puerto Rican history may have never caught its target, but its impact is felt to this day. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to dive deeper into the most wanted fugitives of the past century, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Echoes of History, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Gerena will ever be caught? Let us know, and stay tuned for the next chapter of history. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to dive deeper into the most wanted fugitives of the past century, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Dark Case Files, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Gerena will ever be caught? Let us know, and stay tuned for the next dark case from history. In the turbulent landscape of 1970s Puerto Rico, a militant voice emerged, a group that would become both feared and revered by many on the island. Los Macheteros, also known as the Boricua Popular Army. Under the fiery leadership of Filiberto Ojeda Rios, Los Macheteros believed that peaceful protest alone would never free Puerto Rico from what they saw as colonial rule. They viewed political violence as a necessary tool, a means to an end. Their campaign was marked by high-profile attacks. The Sabana Seca ammunition depot raid, where hundreds of weapons were stolen. The attack on Muñiz Air Base, a bold strike against the U.S. military presence, and numerous armed robberies designed to bankroll their insurgency. Los Macheteros saw themselves as freedom fighters, fighting for a Puerto Rico independent and sovereign. To fund their revolutionary goals, they relied on clandestine operations, including armed robberies and kidnappings. Víctor Manuel Gerena was more than just a foot soldier. He was one of their most trusted operatives, chosen for his access, loyalty, and determination. The Wells Fargo heist was not a rogue act, but a calculated mission in the larger struggle for Puerto Rican liberation. Los Macheteros embodied the anger and frustration of a people who felt ignored by Washington. To them, the U.S. presence was an occupation, and any means necessary to end it were justified. Despite their fierce commitment, the group faced increasing pressure. FBI crackdowns, arrests, and political changes gradually weakened Los Macheteros, but their legacy remains a complex chapter in the island's history, one where ideals, violence, and nationalism collided. By May 1984, just 8 months after the Wells Fargo heist, Víctor Manuel Gerena was officially added to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list, becoming the first Puerto Rican ever to earn this dubious distinction. The manhunt was relentless. FBI agents scoured cities from coast to coast, from the bustling streets of New York and Chicago to the border towns of Mexico. Leads came in, but Gerena always seemed one step ahead. Investigators soon suspected he had fled far beyond the U.S. mainland, all the way to Havana, Cuba. Rumors swirled that Fidel Castro's government was offering him sanctuary, shielding Gerena as a political exile from U.S. justice. The FBI faced a diplomatic and intelligence nightmare. How do you capture a fugitive protected by a foreign government hostile to the United States? We were chasing a ghost. Every tip we got ended in dead ends. Gerena was smart. He knew how to vanish. It was a frustrating, grueling pursuit. We coordinated with international partners, but the political tensions made cooperation nearly impossible. Cuba wasn't about to hand him over. The search dragged on for years. Despite countless leads, the trail went cold more than once, frustrating the FBI and fueling Gerena's legend as the island's most elusive fugitive. For decades, the FBI's presence in Puerto Rico was never just about crime and law enforcement. It was deeply entwined with the island's ongoing political struggles. A complex and often fraught relationship shaped by the broader fight for Puerto Rican identity and sovereignty. The FBI surveilled, infiltrated, and disrupted numerous independence movements throughout the 20th century, often casting political activists and nationalist leaders as dangerous radicals or terrorists. Filiberto Ojeda Rios, a symbol of the independence struggle and leader of Los Macheteros, was a prime target. In 2005, after decades on the run, Ojeda Rios was killed during a controversial FBI raid that ignited outrage across the island. The FBI's hunt for fugitives like Gerena and Ojeda Rios was never just about apprehending criminals. It was a story tangled with history, with deep ideological divides, and the people's fight for self-determination. To many Puerto Ricans, the FBI was not only a federal agency but also a symbol of colonial control and repression. Víctor Manuel Gerena was far from the only Puerto Rican fugitive to challenge the FBI's reach. Over the decades, the Bureau's most wanted list featured a range of figures, from political militants to notorious criminals. Take William Morales, a convicted bomb maker for the Fuerzas Armadas de Liberación Nacional Puertorriqueña, or FALN, who became infamous for a series of bombings in the 1970s and 80s. Morales evaded capture by escaping to Cuba, where he found refuge and remained untouchable for decades. Contrast that with Nelson Torres Delgado, a powerful drug kingpin whose criminal empire spanned Puerto Rico and the U.S. mainland. After years on the run, Torres Delgado was finally apprehended in 2024, demonstrating that the FBI's pursuit, no matter how long, can end in capture. Some fugitives disappeared forever, slipping through the cracks of international borders and political barriers. Others were tracked down after decades, their stories woven into the complex tapestry of Puerto Rico's criminal and political history. The hunt for fugitives like Gerena, Morales, and Torres Delgado reveals the challenges of law enforcement amid political struggle and evolving criminal networks. A pursuit marked by persistence, politics, and the enduring quest for justice. For the people of Puerto Rico, the long-running manhunts for fugitives like Víctor Manuel Gerena and others have always been a double-edged sword. On one hand, there's a deep desire for safety and lawfulness, for a society free from violence and crime. But on the other, many Puerto Ricans feel the weight of a complicated history caught between the fervor of political movements and the shadow of American law enforcement. To some, figures like Gerena and others are seen as villains, criminals who broke the law and endangered innocent lives. Yet to many others, they are remembered as freedom fighters, symbols of resistance against what they saw as colonial oppression. This ongoing debate speaks to the heart of Puerto Rico's identity, a place where questions of sovereignty, justice, and history remain deeply intertwined. More than 40 years after the heist that stunned the nation, Víctor Manuel Gerena still remains at large. Once topping the FBI's 10 most wanted list, he was officially removed in 2016. Yet his file stays active. Investigators haven't given up. The FBI insists they will never close the case. Still, with every passing year, the trail grows colder. Many believe Gerena disappeared into the currents of history, shielded by political sympathizers, lost forever to the shadows of the island and beyond. For most in Puerto Rico, Gerena is part of a complicated past. A story told in hushed tones, some view him as a revolutionary, others as a fugitive. But one thing is certain, after all this time, Gerena's trail may never surface again. Víctor Manuel Gerena's story is one of money, militancy, and a manhunt spanning decades. But more than that, it's a reminder that the history of Puerto Rico, with all its struggles and aspirations, cannot be told without understanding the political currents that shaped it. The biggest hunt in Puerto Rican history may have never caught its target, but its impact lingers. The chase for Gerena will forever be a chapter in the island's story, kept alive by those who still remember. Thanks for watching Dark Case Files. If you'd like to explore more of the most wanted fugitives and mysteries that shaped history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment sharing your thoughts. Do you think Gerena will ever be caught? Let us know, and stay tuned for the next chapter of history.